In 2024, Dragon Ball Legends released 17 new Legends Limiteds and 6 new Ultras. In this video here, I'm going to be creating a roadmap, kind of, based on 2025's potential releases. It's going to be filled with characters I want to see, but characters I think are very likely to release as well. So let's see what we could potentially get. Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys, and in this video here, we've got a roadmap for 2025. I'm going to be putting down my predictions for what characters I think will release this year. I'm only going to be focusing on Legends Limited and Ultra new releases, so I will not be including any 1% Sparkings, any Zenkais, as it would just be way too overwhelming, and it would also just increase the odds of me being wrong. Also for the video, I was contemplating putting in campaigns and things like that, but I think it would just be self-explanatory anyways, so I'm not gonna say when characters are going to drop, besides from the anniversary and the festival, but I will list all the Legends Limited and all the Ultras clear as day. Let's get into this. So to make this video easy to understand, I've sorted them into 4 categories. We've got pre-anniversary, so this would be from January all the way till May when the anniversary starts. Then we've got the anniversary category, where obviously it's just going to be anniversary characters. Then after that, we've got post-anniversary or pre-festival, is that gap between there they put in their campaigns, and then we've got the festival. So the year split into 4 segments, and we're going to focus on the year in that way, so it's easy to understand. Last year in 2024, we got 5 Legends Limiteds before the anniversary began. We got Bomku, who started the year off. Then we got Legends Limited Super 17, we got Legends Limited Super Vegeta, Legends Limited Super Baby 2, and Nappa and Vegeta. And on top of that, they gave us 2 Ultras. We got Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Ultra Golden Frieza. Now I think we should start with the Legends Limited first. In no order, these are the 5 I think we're going to get. Number 1, we got Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Mini. I think he's just a given with the fact that they've been pushing Daima really heavily. There's no way they don't give us that guy as a Legends Limited. He would be the second one following from the Super Saiyan Goku Mini. Number 2, it's something that's unknown to us yet, but it's gonna be a hype character from Daima. I'm just gonna write it down as a fusion warrior because I believe we will get a fusion of Goku and Vegeta because Goku bought some fusion bugs from the store. So I'm gonna assume it's a new fusion of Goku and Vegeta at the end of Dragon Ball Daima. So we're gonna get 2 Daima Legends Limited before the anniversary even begins. And because we're gonna get 2 Daima Legends Limited that are going to be protagonists, you could say, for my 3rd pick, 4th and 5th, I felt it made sense to make them antagonists in a sense, so overall powerful opponents. Well, the 6th one isn't actually a powerful opponent, but I'll get to that. So the first one I've got is a Legends Limited Golden Frieza. I think this just makes sense. We got an Ultra one last year, but they haven't dropped anything LOE since basically. I know we did get the Frieza in Cell, but I'm talking about a core Legends Limited that is Lineage of Evil, and Lineage of Evil, they just need to get their buff once a year. So I think a Golden Frieza is the most fitting thing. They can make him from Resurrection F, or they can take him from the Tournament of Power. I think the Tournament of Power will be more fitting for one of the Ultras I'm going to mention later, but regardless, as long as we get a Golden Frieza, I think that would make sense. Following that, I've got a Legends Limited Hit. He could also be a tag unit with God Goku, but Hit as a Legends Limited should be a unit dropping this year as well. I'm pushing that idea that Universe Rep will be seeing some buffs outside of Daima, and I think naturally, we already have Ultra Hit, but that was a while ago. I don't think they should give him his plat just yet. They'd be better off just releasing a new one. Then we'd have the Legends Limited variation while also having the Ultra variation. And I think it's been long overdue for how many hits we have in the game, and the hits have been pretty good when they do drop. Now for the last one, I said it was going to be a powerful opponent, but it's not really. And based on my trend currently, you might be able to guess. I think it's wise that we get a Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. We've got Ultra UI, we've got 2 UI Sign Gokus. I know all of them didn't fight Kefla, but the fact that we haven't got a high rarity Kefla yet is quite crazy to me. So I think she should be another Legends Limited that drops. Also with the idea that Fusion Warriors have been getting a bunch of buffs, prepping something that could come out in 2025, like I mentioned earlier, a Daima Legends Limited that's going to be a Fusion Warrior, it would make a lot of sense. So those are my 5 picks. Just to reiterate, we're gonna have the Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Mini. We're gonna have a Daima Fusion Warrior, mainly of the protagonists, I imagine, Goku and Vegeta. We're gonna get a Legends Limited Golden Frieza, following a Legends Limited Hit, as well as a Legends Limited Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. I think there's a lot of variety in those releases, while also bringing some hype factors for people to summon for. Now regarding the 2 Ultras I think that we're gonna get, the first one, I think they should do a little Cell Saga segment, but it would also add to the powerful opponent scheme. I could easily see them dropping a Ultra Perfect Cell. They've dropped a bunch of cells as a Legend Limited, well there's 2, but every time they do drop a cell, he's somewhat decent. Minus the first one I feel. The second one, the purple one, was good, and also the Revival Red one, on release and Zenkai, was fantastic. An Ultra Perfect Cell would make make a lot of sense. It would add to the powerful opponent theme that I'm kind of pushing, and it would also contrast how they released Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the previous year. It would also be nice to reflect the fact that we just got a Ultra Beast Gohan. Beast Gohan obviously fought Cell Max, and that would be nice. If we don't get a playable Cell Max, which I don't think we will, but it is potentially possible, our Ultra Perfect Cell would also hit nice, especially because we got his little cameo in Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's ink art when he steps on Android 16. And for the second Ultra, I was kind of stuck on what to drop, but I feel like because they buff Future somewhat, the second Ultra would have to be a Future unit. Now I do understand Cell is also a Future unit, but that's only a factor of what his main tags would be, even though it is part of him. Now I was stuck between a Future Gohan or a Future Trunks. I feel it doesn't really matter which one it is, but I still have to pick one at the end of the day. And also I was considering a Game Originals. We haven't got one now in over a year, so it made me think, could they drop one randomly or should I not factor it in? But if I had to pick one, because Gohan now has 2 Ultras, I'm gonna go for Trunks. It could be the Trunks that sliced Frieza, or it could be the Trunks with the black tank top talking about some "this is for Gohan." So I'm locking in on an Ultra Trunks. Now in the anniversary, we know they dropped 4 Legends Limiteds. We got Fusing Gogeta Blue, we got Fusing Super Vegito, and that was part 1. In part 2, we got Super Saiyan God Goku and Ultimate Gohan, and that was part 2. So I have to pick my 4 Legends Limiteds now. I'm just gonna follow the similar format just to make it easy, but it's gonna be adding up to the same total amount of LFs that they dropped in 2024. Now we've had quite a few anniversaries, and I genuinely am very stuck on what would be super hyped to see to increase the bar, or even if they don't increase the bar, how they would incorporate something new. I think the simplest picks would simply be to go for a Fusion Warrior, Vegito, or Gogeta, but we literally got all of those in 2024. So what would make 2025 different? Do they shy away from a Fusion Warrior, or did they choose a Fusion Warrior again, but just a different variation? For example, we could get a Gogeta Blue, but one that starts as a Super Saiyan, and make that the Legends Limited. And honestly, I was talking about that in the festival, and I think it would be super dope. The one that does the Stardust Fall, I keep forgetting the name. I think it might be Stardust Rain, but I'm gonna go Stardust Fall. Let me know in the comment section. Would be really nice. But then he'd need a counterpart. Who's gonna drop with him? Well, after a long time of thinking, I felt like one safe pick that they could easily drop for this anniversary would be a Legends Limited Super Gogeta from the Z movie, Fusion Reborn. We have him as a revival unit with Pikkon, but I think in general, with him being the first summonable Ultra, and even early game, that red Super Gogeta was a menace, I think it would just be a nice release. It's a safe pick going Fusion Warrior route. As much as it's boring, it will always hit, but he won't be the standalone Legends Limited, so don't worry. Not that a lot of you are gonna be happy about my second Legends Limited anyways, especially because he's gonna get overshadowed, but I was thinking they could go with the Heroes Antagonist theme again, similar to what they did in the 3rd anniversary. So instead of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, we're gonna get Super Gogeta, so in a sense he's a Super Saiyan down, 3 down in fact, but instead of the corrupted Zamasu, we're just gonna get a Fusion Zamasu, and that would be the theme for the anniversary, at least the start of it. So I've got Super Gogeta paired up against Fusion Zamasu as the Legends Limited. Fusion Zamasu has been getting snubbed, but the devs have shown to listen to us in terms of us asking for certain characters, and I'm sure they've been ignoring all of the Legends Limited Fusion Zamasu ideas, and it would be good to bring Future back then for that, while them getting a few buffs just prior to the anniversary with how I mentioned the Ultra Trunks and Perfect Cell. So that would be part 1. Now going into part 2. In part 2, we often get something hype, but it's obviously less hype than what was released in part 1. It's something just to balance out the field, so we have to find some sort of hype factor, but can't exceed too much so that it's better than part 3 or even better than part 1 in most cases. So the first one I'm going to be bringing out is a new Legends Limited SSBE Vegeta. Whether he's transforming or not, the simple thing is we need a new one, and I think that would be the best time to drop him. It would also give some hype to Vegeta Clan, because the only thing mentioned from Vegeta Clan prior was the Trunks and also the Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. So he would be one side, and then the other side would be a new Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So GT gets something this year. Whoa, you're probably thinking, when is he going to mention something GT? Well, yes, we're going to get a new Super Saiyan 4 Goku is what I'm thinking, and then it would go against the God Key and Monkey type theme, but dropping hype characters that we would like to see. We've never had a Super Saiyan 4 Goku during a festival in a sense. If you want to count those Super Saiyan 4's Goku and Vegeta that dropped the purple and red one, then sure. But but generally speaking, I think it would be fitting for the part 2. And they've also shown not to care about who they released. They literally dropped 2 Gokus in the part 2 of the festival. In a lot of cases, they don't always go 2 separate themes for part 2, for example when they dropped Orange Piccolo and the Gammas, but it still is very possible in my opinion, so I'm gonna stick with these 2 options. And now to finish off the anniversary, the new Ultra, you probably already guessed it, it's going to be Ultra MUI Goku. Just should have been a given. This one I actually have basis for, but it's the basis that everybody's following. I've explained this previously, but let me explain it again. The first anniversary, we got Super Vegeta as a Legends Limited. 3 years later, 4th anniversary, we got Super Vegeta as an Ultra. The 2nd anniversary, we got Vegito Blue as a Legends Limited. 3 years later, in the 5th anniversary, we got Vegito Blue as an Ultra. In the 3rd anniversary, we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as a Legends Limited. 3 years later, in the 6th anniversary, we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as an Ultra. In the 4th anniversary, we got MUI Goku as a Legends Limited. 3 years later, which will be the 7th year, which is this year, what do you think we would get? An Ultra MUI Goku. But that ends off my anniversary. Now we're entering the post-anniversary or pre-festival period. We got 4 Legends Limiteds and 2 Ultras. First, let's start with the Legends Limiteds. I think around this period, it's always safe for them to do a movies campaign, but of course they don't have to. But I think at this period, we might get more Cell Saga representation. In most cases, it just depends on how they represent or display the characters that they release, but there's obviously 2 characters that people would be hyped for, and the main focuses would be Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Perfect Cell. Because they already dropped a Ultra Perfect Cell based on my predictions earlier in the year, this could also be where they slot in the Ultra Trunks that I mentioned earlier. But what I do want to see out of this campaign would be a Legends Limited Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. We definitely need a new one. I think to add more variety into the game, a Legends Limited TN would hit different. And I think riding the memes that came out in 2024, people would be actually accepting of it. But whether the devs would do that, I don't know, but I'm gonna put it down on the list. You know when TN was holding down Cell, and I think maybe for a couple hours, he held him there so he couldn't move. I should also add they could easily tie this into the Android saga as well, so we could see the addition of Android 17 and 18, whether they want to make it an assist unit, another tag unit, and when I say assist unit prior, I mean one or the other, and then the other would just be an assist. Most likely an Android 17 assist, and then 18 is the main. And just to keep my hopes high, I'm gonna go for a father-son final flash, because that was speculated on during this festival based on all the Vegeta clan buffs. I'm gonna say that's gonna be something else we're gonna see too. They drop a game originals to bait us prior to the festival, and I think that would hit different. Now regarding the 2 Ultras that we would get, I think Future Gohan is very fitting at this point to be one of them. A lot of people love this version of Gohan, him as an adult, how much willpower he had to fight against the androids, so that's gonna be my first pick. And for my second pick, they're gonna lead us a bit astray, but following up after the Android Cell Saga campaign ends, or this could even be something post anniversary immediately before they start that campaign, I think a final form Cooler would also hit different. But regarding the Cooler placement, he's a bit out of the way, so let me talk about him. Because they started the anniversary with a movies character, there wasn't much more movies other than that in the anniversary. So post anniversary, before they get into announcing campaigns, the first Ultra they release would be Cooler. I think that would make the most sense. Then they announce the campaign going forward, and then right before the anniversary, the Ultra that we get is Gohan. I think that aligns much better, because then they can drop the Android / Cell Saga stuff all in one bunch, which will be the team they build up right before we go into the festival. I also just think a lot of people would be hyped for Cooler as well. I'm not really fussed about what type of Cooler it is though. It could be the metal one, Final Form Cooler. I just like the Final Form Cooler design 100 times more. Now we've got to the festival. We're following the same thing as the anniversary. 4 Legends Limited, 1 Ultra. This is even harder now, but again, I think a safe choice is to go for a DBS Gogeta. I mentioned it in the anniversary, but I think it's more fitting for him to show up now. I know that's 2 Gogetas in a row, but at least they're not Ultras this time, you know? We're not gonna get any Fusion Warrior Ultras in 2025. That's what I'm thinking. But it's always a safe bet to go for the Fusion Warriors to start off a celebration. So I'm thinking a Super Saiyan Gogeta. Preferably he doesn't transform into blue, but if he does, that's also fine. But as long as his legendary finish is the Stardust Fall thing, that is completely fine. I think the animations for that would be the top of the game. It would be the best legendary finish we have. And the way they make it look, oh my god, that's a festival caliber unit. And then if they didn't drop a legendary Super Saiyan Broly in 2024, before, I would have picked him immediately. But they did, so he's not going to be my pick. I'm actually going to go with a Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta. If we get these two as a tag unit, we would have the God Bros. The whole part 1 will be movies, but these guys won't fuse. So they're following the layout of what they did in the 2023 festival when they dropped Beast Gohan and Evoken. Beast Gohan a transforming unit and everybody loves him, the aesthetic is super nice, but then you also have a tag unit which people do like, but it's obviously not exactly matching, and then their playstyles would be different. I think for the start of the anniversary they should just keep it DBS Broly, and these are two things that we haven't seen, especially with how they've been pushing out the superhero movie so much. Now let's move into part 2. They could easily drop a Game Originals here as well, but I've already taken up that slot earlier, so I'm gonna just give you 2 Legends Limiteds again. I really had no idea what to drop here, so I'm just gonna throw out 2 just for sake. I feel like my options are getting weaker as we get through the year, but my first pick, I'm gonna be mentioning Super Saiyan Bardock. He's not more hyped than any of the first options, but people do love Bardock. Super Saiyan Bardock, he's Super Saiyan the whole time. I know we had a base Bardock that transforms into Super Saiyan, but that Bardock only went Super Saiyan in the legendary finish. In this case, this Bardock will be Super Saiyan 24/7 from the rip, so he's gonna be a powerful unit is what I'm expecting. And then alongside him, following the Super Saiyan trend with Gogeta, and then the other side we had the God Key, we're gonna take a Beerus here. New God of Destruction Beerus, Legends Limited. He was the first Legends Limited to release in the game, so for sure he must be Festival caliber. And now we need to end the year with the Ultra. Now this was the hardest thing to pick out of the whole list, because I feel like I've burned through everything hype. We've got so many Gogetas, we've got so many Vegetos. They're still always a safe pick, but how could they make it more creative? We've got Beast Gohan. We already would have Ultra MUI at this point. We have UI Sign. We have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. They've completely rinsed me of all the hype options and they've left me no choice. This is my final pick. The Martians have the laser beam pointed at the Earth. If I guess wrong, everybody dies. Who am I picking to close out 2025? Potentially the biggest year of Dragon Ball Legends. There's only one man. The only one I haven't mentioned this whole video? Vegito! He's the only option. He's actually the only option. He's the breadwinner of Dragon Ball Legends. There's no way their biggest year, they're not gonna drop a premium Vegito this year. It's just not gonna happen. You know, we were going the whole year thinking, oh, we haven't got a Vegito yet, we haven't got a Vegito yet. Boom! Final drop. It's a Vegito. Now, what they're gonna do with him, God knows. Hey, boy, we're getting one. One way or another. There's no way we're going a whole year without a Vegito. I can put all of you I'm not gonna do, but for sure we're getting one. Now I don't know how they're gonna drop it. It's not me, it's just that he's the safest pick. He's the safest Dragon Ball Legends pick that they have to offer, and if they want to make the 7th year their biggest year, there's no way they're not gonna drop a Vegito. I mentioned Gogeta a lot, I mentioned a lot of other hype units, but hey, there's no way they're not dropping a Vegito, man. There's no way. So that's my final pick. I don't know what he's gonna be. Base, Super Saiyan, Blue, transforming through 03, Game Original, they do something crazy, but goddamn, they are dropping a Vegito in some way, shape or form. I had to put that in my list. Now to end off the video, there is one thing I am anticipating, and it's the return of Dragon Ball Super 2 after Diamond finishes, which is actually early in 2025. I expect that they might announce the release of Super 2, and if they go very quickly with it, I don't know how fast it progresses, we might actually see characters from that series immediately enter the game, which would throw off everything that I've pretty much said. But I just want to tell you guys that I'm ahead and I'm prepared for that possibility, so I'm mentioning it here. I'm aware that they could just drop DBS 2 and then everything I said in this video just goes south. And with that being the case, hey, I haven't read the manga yet, but I will be reading, and I might do a revisionist version of this video further down the line, but just be wary that I've said it here. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of my roadmap for 2025. Let me know what you guys think about it. This was actually a lot harder to do than I expected it to be. I thought it would be pretty easy, but it wasn't. They dropped a bunch of units and I had to mention a bunch of units to fill the gaps. Some of them I feel like were just a bit filler, but hey, that's what happens in Legends anyways. Will I cook? Will the devs do better than me? Let's see what they've got in store for us, man. Leave your predictions down below, maybe on the big units like the Ultras, or you could do your own whole roadmap. Somebody will read it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.